Hey all, welcome to the Audacity Factor. I'm your host, Catherine Daw. Today, August 17th, 2024 is my day number 17 of my 90 for 90 videos in 90 days. You can also find me on Patreon as well, where I have a community and membership. So today, I really wanted to just talk briefly about Saturday. It's hot here in South Carolina. My husband's out mowing the lawn, and I will have something special for you next time. My husband did some riffs on the guitar so that I can have some intro music and outro music, and I'll be testing that over the next week or so, and you can please let me know what you think. And please feel free to comment. That's one thing I just want to I don't know, maybe it's a little dig, I don't know, but I want to bring it up because here at the Audacity Factor, we talk about courage and bringing courage to kind of light maybe the dark places in your life. Having the courage to do that, having the courage to speak up, having the courage to say what's real and true for you. For example, when I look at the analytics, we'll talk about YouTube specifically for my videos. It's really interesting to be able to look at how long somebody's watched a video, how many times somebody's returned. And there's really a lot of information you can gain. And one thing that I've found really interesting is that you can get a thumbs down on a video or a thumbs up on a video within the first like 30 seconds, 1 minute, maybe even out at a minute and 30, which come on, let's examine that. That's really not very much time. So somebody hasn't really invested very much, really hardly any time at all. And they decide that whether they like or don't like something. It seems like the dating apps, doesn't it? Where you're just looking at somebody's photo and you're like, nah. You're swiping whichever direction that is, you're swiping. And so you're really not giving anybody an opportunity, and you're not giving yourself a chance to get in to engage fully or even partially if you're only so again, I mean, it just harkens back to the dating apps, which I have to say, I am so grateful that it's something I don't have to engage in any longer. There was a long period of time where I didn't date at all after being in a very challenging relationship. But it can be difficult to give somebody an opportunity, especially when we have some kind of preconceived agenda in our heads already. Um, I have to tell you, I decided I knew I was going to have to kiss some frogs. But once I decided I was willing to do that, and I kind of cleared the slate of some kind of agenda or list that somebody needed to kind of abide by for me to go out with them or for them to be appealing to me or whatever, um, then it just made it a lot more freer and of an experience. So anyway, getting back to the engagement on really, it's probably any of the social media platforms on all of them. And I'm including LinkedIn in that because LinkedIn is a social media platform. No matter what they like to tout, um, it's really become a whole nother source of even a different level of engagement. There can be a lot of smoke blowing there. So just saying. I do have a presence on LinkedIn, so you can check it out there as well. Um, but really, can you be a little more patient and take the time to actually engage with someone? Give them the chance. Be generous with your time. Be generous with your attention. And I don't necessarily mean just on any thing you're watching on social media, but where else in your life can you focus more generosity towards someone? Let them say what they want to say before you have before words start just shooting out of your mouth because you can't stand waiting for them to finish saying what they want to say. And I admit was one of maybe the worst people when it came to that. I don't want to say worst. It was definitely a challenge for me to not shoot words out of my mouth before somebody was finished. Um, and it's something I've had to practice, and I admit that completely, that it's taken me some time and definitely a lot of practice to be patient with engagement. What do they call it? Active listening. Well, I think it's even more than that. I think it's a place of you being still in your listening to someone else. Now, you could not like the sound of my voice. You could not like how I look. Something I said within the first 15 seconds could completely turn you off. I totally get it. Totally. Absolutely. But it really just kind of stirred something in me when when I go back and look at the analytics of any of the videos so that I can offer more of what people are wanting. Although I definitely listen to myself and I speak intuitively. I have a lot of experience in a lot of areas. I have a lot of training. However, I like to engage on what I feel is the truest version of myself, at least at this time. So I don't like to use the word authenticity because I think it's become just so rote and loaded with all kinds of maybe propaganda, maybe even. Not sure exactly what word I want, but it's not a word I tend to use. It's really just about discovery process and knowing that who we are is dynamic as well. Maybe at our very root. So that harkens back to our integrity. Is patience one of yours? Patience is something I've had to practice. Now, there are times when I can be super patient, and there are times where I've had to really knuckle down and practice being patient, especially in waiting for someone to finish. Now, my husband is the most patient of men, and he has a way about him that can remind you without actually reminding you that he's not finished speaking. And so for me, it's been fantastic because it's been a really much more graceful way for me to learn how to be patient and not to just start shooting words out of my mouth, which, from my traumatic past became it was always a fight or flight response for me, and the words shooting out of my mouth were part of that fight response, which has been really almost completely dismantled. I continue to practice that because our triggers and our behaviors and our beliefs and thoughts and all those things and our actions are really based on our past experiences. So if can we be willing to change those and be open, be willing, what do they say, willing to be willing to consider something different, or the fact that maybe this thing isn't what's working for us right now, and that we can be better. Really, I think it's about being better. And I know for me, I always want to know that I can be better. Rock climbing was one of my favorite activities for decades. And it was never about competing against someone else. It was always about me, I guess, being competitive with myself. I always knew that I could do better. But I was also willing to put the work in and the effort in to be able to do that, because the accomplishment, I think, and the drive for me when it came to rock climbing really hit home for me. That felt super aligned for me. So anyway, that was kind of a tangent, but still, how can we give ourselves the opportunity to be patient? And hey, it's absolutely fine to just say, hey, you know what? I don't like your stuff. I'm giving you a thumbs down. Peace out. See you later. Totally, totally fine. But I just found it interesting that, it wasn't really after any kind of an investment of time, really. And, a lot of that's driven by social media where they tell you things need to be like 7 seconds or 15 seconds or some crap like that. But and that's just something I'm not able to do. So you're welcome. I'm sorry. No, I'm not really sorry, not sorry, kind of thing, but you're welcome for sure. For sure. Um, but okay, I will let y'all get back to your Saturday. We are here at the Audacity Factor, August 17th, 2024. And I will see you tomorrow at some point in time.